All right. Am I starting over now that you're recording, or am I leaving where I'm at?
Absolutely. Just start right from the beginning because we can hear you really clear now.
Okay. So, yeah. So I saw this post on Facebook. This was about 8 years ago. This was before, the host to post and doing everything social media. This was when you had to do parties and you had to basically go knocking door to door. So I kept watching it and I kept seeing it. This was at this point in my life, I was weighing over 500 pounds, exactly 517 pounds. I was chronically sick. I had done everything from the time I was 13 years old, diet wise, doctors, cardiologists, nutritionists, uh, anything that you could think of. I had done every single diet you could imagine. I was part of the Fin. I don't know if y'all know the Fin lawsuits that came out with the diet weight, the lost diet pills. I was part of that. I had lost a significant amount of weight with it. But then they took it away. It was hurting people, all this kind of stuff. So I kept trying and trying and trying, but every time I would lose weight, I would put it all back on and then some. And so it just kept cycling. And I kept getting more and more, heavier and heavier. So I had gone to the doctor. I was very sick. I had gone to the doctor, had developed severe yeast, lower area and through my mouth. And so the doctor diagnosed me. I'll never forget the doctor visit. It was the worst day of my life. But so he diagnosed me with type 2 diabetes. My A1C was 12.9, the highest that they had seen. He wanted to put me in the hospital. So I'm sorry, I'm going to try not to get emotional.
Okay, girl.
But I refused to go to the hospital. From that point on, I was diagnosed with chronic inflammation. I was diagnosed with chronic yeast. I had yeast throughout my entire body. Basically, my body was shutting down. And so they put me on medication. I was on 2 different types of diabetic medication. I was on diflucan for yeast. I was on anti-inflammatories for the inflammation. I was on about 7 to 8 different types of medications immediately, like leaving the doctor's office immediately. The doctor then told me that if I continued the path that I was going, that he would foresee me lasting another 3 years. So basically gave me like a 3-year lifespan. Like if you keep going.
Cassie, can I ask you how old were you at this time?
I was 31 years old.
Okay.
So 31. I was living on my own. I had an in-home daycare. I had done in-home, now still have in-home, but have done it for 25 years. So it was getting to the point where I was doing my best just to do daily tasks. I could not stand for longer than 5 minutes at a time. I had torn all of the cartilage in my knees, just the weight on the knees. I was doing my dishes sitting in a kitchen chair because I couldn't even stand to do the dishes. So, I was bad off. Like I was sick. So I went home. I came home, I talked to family, told them that I was going to do something, So I went home and I kept seeing these posts on Facebook. And so I decided, I was like, well, I've got to do something. I'm on the medication, but I've got to do something else. So I reached out to this lady, and she was a couple of towns away from me. she started sending me this information. She started sending me all of this. And I said, you know what? What do I have to lose? I was like, I'm that bad off. Nothing at this point can hurt me anymore. So I just went for it. And I signed up as a customer underneath her. And the first thing that I tried was the wraps, because at that time, the skinny wraps were huge. Everybody was doing the skinny wraps. So that's the first thing that I tried. And I didn't really notice because I was still so swollen with inflammation. I couldn't even bend my fingers. My fingers were like cracking at the knuckles. They were so swollen. So I didn't notice at first. And I said, you know what? I said, I felt good using them. I said, I liked it. I liked it. So I dived into the Thermophyte. And so I started taking the Thermophyte and the fat blockers. And at this time, I was not changing much as far as eating. I was trying to eat cleaner, but I was not changing that much. It was a gradual change. But the first month with the Thermophyte and the Fat Fighters, the first month I lost 34 pounds in just 1 month. So, and that's the thing with bigger people. That's why a lot of people that want to lose like 10 or 15 pounds, they're not going to see as drastic results as that. They're going to have to do longer than the 30 days. Bigger people are going to see more drastic results quickly because there's so much inflammation. They're losing a lot of water and bloat and everything else at first. So the first month it was 34 pounds lost. I was ecstatic. I had never been able to lose that much. But that month I was feeling completely different inside too. And it wasn't just I was losing weight, like I was feeling different. And I told all of my family, I was so excited. I was like, y'all don't understand, you've got to try this. So I was selling it to my family and I was like, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. This is what works. And slowly as I started going, I started changing diets more and more because the excitement of it. I didn't want it to, I had hope that, the doctor's visit that gave me no hope. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to die. That's just it, because I've tried everything for 30 years now and nothing's worked. So I had basically, that was it. I'm just going to go until I just can't go anymore. And then I started seeing this and I started feeling this. And I was like, it was the first real hope that I could change this. I could turn this around. So the second month I pushed even harder. I changed my diet even more. I dropped 39 pounds my second month. So that's like almost 70 pounds in 2 months. And at that point, I was a little concerned because everyone had stated, all the doctors that I had seen says it's very unhealthy to lose so quickly, so much at one time. My doctor I kept going to, and he was like, you're losing it too fast. It's going to be unhealthy. There's no way possible that this is working like this. We think you're sick. So then they started checking my thyroid. I went through so many tests. They started checking my thyroid. They started checking cancer cells in my body, because they couldn't explain how I was losing so much, but I was feeling good, not feeling bad. And it should have been unhealthy scientifically. It should have been unhealthy to lose that much. But I kept telling them, I was like, this is what I'm doing. and this is what I'm taking. And I
So,
brought everything I was taking. Mm-hmm.
so in 2 months' time, nearly 70 pounds, and that was just from taking the Thermophyte and the Fat Fighters?
Just the Thermophyte and the Fat Fighters.
Wow.
And I was doing the wraps on my arms because I had already started getting like loose skin under my arms. So I was doing the wraps underneath my arms, but literally just the Thermophyte and the Fat Fighters, and slowly, gradually changing my eating. And the third month, the doctors wouldn't believe me. I kept telling them, I was like, I'm bringing you what I'm taking. I was like, I'm taking all the medication that I'm taking. This is what I'm taking also. And there was this wellness doctor. She's now a wellness doctor, but she was a nurse practitioner then. She was his nurse practitioner. She just, every visit, she just kept sitting off to the side and just listening. And she never would say anything during the visit or anything like that. My third visit back to the doctor, after diagnosis of everything, she finally waited until the doctor left, and she said, I want to know exactly what you're taking. I want to know how you found out about it. I want to give you my number. I want you to send me all the product information, ingredients, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, absolutely. So I went home and I sent her all of this, and she was looking through everything. Just so happened she was actually in transition to opening her own wellness clinic. And the doctor himself, that's why she had not approached me, because the doctor himself did not know of her plan yet. So she kept talking and talking. We would text and we would talk back and forth. And but she finally came to me. It was about a month later. She came to me and she said, I've done it. I've opened my wellness clinic. I want to sign up as a distributor underneath you. And I was like,
so in this time of the 2 months that you were taking the product, somewhere in there, you decided to become a distributor, or were you still a customer?
Yes, I had moved the third month. I decided to become a distributor. So this was the fourth month. I had only been a distributor for 1 month. This was the fourth month that when she came to me and she said, I want to sign up as a distributor underneath you. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I mean, what is your plan? And she said, I want to sell these products in my clinic. And I was like, okay. And she said, I have seen what this has done for you. Well, I have tested all of your levels. Like my entire body, all of my levels, when I first went into the doctor, I was deficient, like severely deficient in everything. I mean, they put me on, I was on a B complex pill. I was on B active. I was on like 7 or 8 different vitamins that I had to pay. It was over $300 worth of vitamins in themselves that I had to buy from them. And she had checked me over and everything. I mean, I was so severely deficient that they were worried about disease. And within 4 months' time, my body started alkalining itself. Now the fourth month is when I added the greens. When I signed up as a distributor, I added the greens as my auto ship. And I was taking the greens. And so now I'm on the Thermophyte, the greens, and the Fat Fighters, and doing the skinny wraps, as I went. But so all of my levels, everything inside of me has started lining itself out, like on its own. I had told them that I couldn't afford the vitamins. I was single, I was on my own, I just couldn't afford it. So I was like, I can't afford to pay $300 a month. I'm just going to continue with the greens and keep doing that. So within 6 months, this is now 6 months, I've now become a spokesperson for the wellness doctor that opened her clinic. So I'm speaking to her clients. I'm, she's using my results with all of her clients. She's, contacting me on three-way phone calls, talking to clients, in the middle of the night, trying to help them. So it became a journey for me, not so much as, oh, I need the extra money or I'm doing this for the money. It turned into me wanting to do the products because I thought I was dying and just needed something. And then it turned into, okay, this is working. I got a little bit of excitement. I want to continue this. So if it can pay for itself and I can still get my products basically for free, that's what I'm going to do. And then it turned into, wow, people are watching this. They're seeing this. I've got people calling me all hours of the night. It turned into a big Facebook group that was set up, and we were sharing recipes, and it just became so much more than I ever thought it was, which was even more of the motivation. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And the doctors still, they couldn't explain anything. So 6 months in, I have been taken off of the chronic inflammation medication. So I'm no longer on the inflammation medication. 10 months in, I have been taken off of one of the diabetic medications. A year in, it took a year because my body was toxin that bad. But a year in, I came off of the diflucan medication, which was for the yeast. So after about a year, the yeast had been completely cleared and flushed out of my body. I did about the 6 month add the cleanse. I started doing the cleanse about the 6 month in, and I continued doing the cleanse every month at that time. Every month I did a cleanse. And my diet has, changed drastically now at this point. So, I'm eating cleaner, I'm following, losing is the motivation for everything. Within a year and 4 months, I had dropped from a size 6X. I was having to have clothes made for me. I could not find clothes when I first started this journey. So I went from a size 6X to a size large in a year and 4 months. Strictly, when I tell you that I did not know, because I was in a size 3X when I was 13 years old. So I've been big my entire life. It was normal to me. What I was feeling was normal. I thought everybody felt the way that I felt. I kid you not. I did not realize people felt the way that they felt when I lost all of this weight. Like, my inside was different. Like, the way that my body was functioning, internally was different. Everything was alkaline. Everything was working properly. My thyroid that was determined inactive was now working. 2012, I was told that now I may get emotional on this part, so we're gonna try. 2012, I was told I was barren and could not have children. And basically, it was the worst gynecologist visit I'd ever been to, because he honestly had no bedside manner whatsoever. When you're telling someone something like that, it's devastating. But it was almost like, he looked at me as, well, did you really think that you could? Look how big you are, type of thing. So not only were you getting this devastating news, but you were getting this crude bedside manner of, embarrassment and everything else. So 2012, I was told I could not have children ever. I was deemed barren. Um, so I drop all of this weight, a year and 4 months, keep it off, and
So
it's staying
tell
off.
us, where are you at? How much weight have you lost now at a year and 4 months?
A year and 4 months, I lost 275 pounds. I went from size 6X to a size large. I have not been in a size large. I had not been in a size large probably since I was 6 years old. So it was mind blowing. Like, I'm going crazy. I'm like, I can shop at any store I want to. I don't have to have my clothes made. I'm not wearing, what we call, don't take offense, but the old lady moo-moos, because I can't fit pants. I'm 30 years old. I'm not supposed to be wearing, grandma clothes. I'm supposed to be, it was amazing. It was overwhelming. I couldn't say enough about the products. When I tell you that the products saved my life, I mean that sorry.
Okay.
I mean that in every sense of the word.
Yeah. That's amazing, girl. Like 30 years old, told that you can't have kids, told that you are always going to, be larger, told that if you didn't change something, you weren't going to be here in the next 3 years, and you're only 30 years old. So tell us what's happened since that 275 weight loss and the doctor telling you that, hey, you're not going to be able to, have children. What has happened since then? And what is life like for you? Well, how you got reintroduced. Like, let's talk about what has happened in that time, and then what's happened in the last 2 months.
Right. So, yeah, after losing the weight, I was a completely different person. I was exercising. I was, shopping in all of the places. I wound up having like 3 little, girl shop, credit cards. And I was going and I was having to buy complete new wardrobes, like nothing, So, I was having all the fun. I'm like, I'm just going to shop and I can buy what and fit whatever I want. And, so I met my husband in 2018, and I had told him, I'm like, look, if you're wanting children, I can't have children. I told everyone that. I was like, I can't have children. I had a doctor tell me this, so it's face value, right? A doctor told you. So I'm like, I can't have children. And he was like, no, I'm not wanting children. I have 2 of my own. I'm like, that's perfect. I was like, I love children, all this kind of stuff. As the relationship went, I was like, I'm still going to be able to be a mom. Everything's going to be good. Well, I met my husband the beginning January of 2018. November 2018, I had a gyno checkup and just wasn't really feeling right. And so I went into the same doctor that told me 2012. This was my mother's doctor. This was my sister's doctor. We all used the same doctor. Went into the same doctor November of 2018. And he comes in and he's just, his eyes are wide, his mouth is wide open. And I'm like, what is the matter? And he said, I don't know how, but you're pregnant. So I'm sitting there like, are you kidding me? Like, at this point, I'm 37 years old. So I'm like, I'm up there in age. Can I even carry a baby? How is this possible? They're going to deem me high risk, So, I got all these thoughts going on in my head, and I'm sitting here going, how is this even possible? How am I going to go home and tell my husband, I told him I couldn't have kids, my husband's 5 years older than I am. So you can only imagine. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 40s, and we're fixing to have a baby. So the excitement wasn't there at first. It was like pure shock. The excitement came later, but now we've got a 4-year-old beautiful baby boy, and we've got my 2 bonus children, and nobody could tell me, no doctor could explain to me, and I kept telling them, these products are fixing. I've told ever since with It Works, I've told everybody, you cannot change the outside until you fix the inside. And if your insides are awful, and if your insides are toxined, and if your insides are not working properly, your outside is not going to work also. So everything is in our gut. Everything. That's why I love most of these products are high gut promotes. Like, they promote healthy gut, and 90% of our body functions, from our gut. Our immune system, everything functions from our gut. So I kept telling them, I'm like, this is these products. Like, you have no idea. Like, yeah, I've lost weight before. The most weight that I've lost before doing any kind of diet was 102 pounds at one time. But I did not feel good. I didn't have the same feeling that these products gave me. Yes, I was losing the weight, but I was still having the chronic issues. I was still having the inflammation. I was still having the swelling, the sleepless nights. I was having heart palpitations, and feeling like I couldn't go to sleep at night. I couldn't lay down. Like, it was just, the feeling wasn't there like it was with these products. So COVID happened. I developed an infection in my C-section wound. They did a C-section because I was deemed high risk. And because I was pre-diabetic, I developed gestational diabetes during my pregnancy, which was very mild. But they were worried I was going to have to turn into an emergency. So they cut me perinatal, like they did old school. I wasn't cut because I had so much of a weight loss that there was extra skin down there. They did not want to do the bikini cut because they were afraid of an infection because of all of the loose skin. So they cut me up top above the belly button. And I did develop an infection inside that wound. So it took me 7.5 months to heal from having the baby. And I had him July 2019. So from July 2019 to February 2020 was how long it took me to heal. And then March 2020, COVID broke out. So we all went into quarantine, and I had already been in quarantine, since having, him the previous year. So we all went into quarantine. I backed off of the products during going through the infection and the quarantine and all of that. I backed off of the products. So
sorry to interrupt you. So from the time that you started 8 years ago, you became a distributor, you lost your 275, met your husband, had your baby up until 2020. Were you still using the products the whole time through?
Yes, the only thing that I was using at that point was the greens. Once I had lost the weight, I had to stop taking the Thermophyte because I had a caffeine sensitivity. So I wound up about 6 months after taking the Thermophyte, I wound up not taking it anymore. I was still using the fat blocker, fat fighters, but after I had lost the weight, the 275 pounds, the only thing that I maintained was the greens. And when I first did this as a distributor, I really did not get into the business part of it. I didn't, it was mainly sell enough to cover my products, sell enough every month to cover my products because I still wanted them. I still wanted to use them. But, yes, I was using my greens. I was using the greens probably maybe 5-6 months into COVID. Then I started backing off of them, and things were, y'all all know things were crazy during COVID. We didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if we were all fixing to start dropping. It was just devastating. It was hard to get groceries, so we were basically just getting what we could. We were scared to go into grocery stores. So my eating was basically, we were getting enough to where we could feed our kids. So we were eating what they were eating. So it was not all of the correct stuff. So I slowly backed off of the products. I stopped using the products. I stopped pushing the products because it was just a crazy time for everybody. And it wasn't going anywhere because everyone was scared. And so my eating turned into eating what the kids were eating. So slowly during COVID, I could see I started putting that weight back on, and little by little, and then it turned it back into old ways of stress eating and depressed eating. And it just slowly started coming back on. I started getting that sluggish feeling again. I started collecting inflammation again, waking up in the mornings and, couldn't bend my fingers. And it's gone on ever since then and I had contacted you, probably, what was it, like 2 years into COVID?
Yeah, so it was definitely last year somehow. I can't remember how we got into contact. I'm not sure. I think it was maybe a host to post.
Yeah, you sent out something, and I had seen you sending out these. At the time, I didn't know that they were host to post because we didn't do those.
Yeah.
And so I had seen you putting out this. So it was a funny one or something. I can't remember what it was, but I commented on it, and then you sent me a post and a message. And so I think I just asked you, are you still, because I actually, before I contacted you, before we got together, I actually was already thinking about it and had messaged my last upline that I was under then, and had messaged her. Unfortunately, she also had stopped the business during COVID. So she was no longer selling it. So I was like, and my husband kept asking me, he was like, it was a conversation we had had for a while. And he was like, I miss the greens. And I was like, I do too. I said, just everything's up in the air right now. I was like, honestly, I don't even know if there's anybody local, that I could even talk to that sells it anymore. And so it was conversations back and forth. And then you messaged with the host to post, script. And I was like, okay, so I don't know how I responded, or, yeah, I'm kind of interested in the greens. My husband's been talking about the greens, and I don't think I was showing as much excitement as I was talking to you, but trust me, as soon as we got done talking, I was running to my husband. I'm like, she sells it. I found somebody that sells it. And so we were talking and conversating, and it was about a year after that initial thing that I actually, I was watching you and I was seeing what you
And
were putting out.
exactly. And so you're watching me and I was following up with you.
Right.
And
Right.
what was the straw that broke the camel's back that made you say, okay, I gotta do this? And then how did you start off again?
The straw that broke the camel's back was actually, I told myself that if I got up to birth weight, I was not going to let myself get back to the point that I was at, where I was scared and scared that something was going to happen. I now had 3 children that depended on me. And honestly, that message that you got was because when I got on the scale that morning, I was at birth weight. I had gotten up to the weight that I was my 9 months pregnant with my son. And I told my husband, I was like, we're just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to contact her, and we're just going to start out with the greens and go from there. And that's what we were missing. So I messaged you, and that's where we went.
That's right. So you'd seen me being consistent, posting, and it obviously was on your mind. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was the weight, where you were, that you were just like, okay, enough is enough. I'm gonna contact her. And then you contacted me, which I followed up throughout that year's time for sure, back and forth. And sometimes you didn't answer me back, did you? But you still kept watching me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, and I mean, I was kind of trying to make sure also, because it was such a journey for me the first time, I needed someone that could connect with me emotionally. And it wasn't just about product. And that's a lot of blockers for a lot of people when they think that they're just being sold a product just so someone can make money. They will stop talking. So I messaged you back and forth for about a year, and I started feeling that emotional connect. Rather, your messages were personable that you were sending. It wasn't just all scripted, and it wasn't just copy and paste. It was added measures. It was your personality in it. You were touching base on what I was needing, and that went a long way.
Right. So I had planted the seed about you because I didn't know you were a distributor before. We started talking about some products, and you said you had taken the products, and I think I had mentioned maybe something about, have you ever thought about being a distributor? And then you had said, I actually was a distributor like a long time ago. And so we kind of chatted a little bit about that. I brought up the business to you, but what happened? Like, how long have you been? So tell us how you got started in the last, what has it been? About a month and a half now, Cassie, I think. Mm-hmm. How did you get started again? And what has happened for you in that time?
Okay. So, I ordered the greens. If you remember correctly, I ordered the greens as a customer. And then 2 weeks later,
it was 2 days later.
Was it 2 days later?
I think like super quick, because I was like, wow, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I contacted you and I said, you know what? Is there any way that I can cancel my customer account and sign up as a distributor? And, you were telling me all the information about that. So, yeah, however long it was afterwards, I immediately signed as a distributor and, told my husband, I was like, the aspect of being able to, I homeschool my children. So our bonus children have been with us for 2 years now. And we homeschool. Uh, Crazy stories there, but we're not going to get into all that. But so I'm at home with my kids all the time, and my 4-year-old starts 4K this year. So I needed something. I continue to keep children as an in-home, but when I was single and it was just me, it was, I had day and night shifts. I kept on the weekends, all of this kind of stuff. But when it turned into, I have a family of my own now that, I have to give my everything to, it turned into more of we need to think about a different career path. I need to be able to, focus on my family now and do what's best for them. And we go on field trips. I have to be mobile. So right now it's me and 5 children going on field trips with my children and my 6 children, my children and my daycare babies. So my car is full, and the days can get hectic. And I was like, you know what, I've got to focus on them. I need something where I can still be at home and concentrate on their schooling and still be able to do the extracurricular activities that we do and all of that. I'm not in a position where I can work outside the home, but I still need to be able to financially help my family. So I think my husband and I just talked for like that whole time. And I'm like, I really think I could do this. The program has changed. There's so much more of a platform out there now, especially after COVID. Everyone right now is running with wellness. They're running with healthiness. They're running with being the healthiest version of themselves that they can, because COVID scared them so bad. I mean, these healthy people that you would see as being deemed the healthiest person, COVID was taking them down. So I told him, I said, I really think I can do this. I said, one, I've done it before. I had the results. I've done it personally, not done the business part of it, but I've done the weight loss journey and the products personally. I know what they do. I know I believe in them. So it was over and over again conversations. I was like, I really think we can do this. And so he said, go for it. And that's what I did. I think 4 days into me being a distributor, I had 5 customers underneath me. 5 customers. And I think 2 weeks into it, I had my 4-in-1. And
yep,
it was days. It wasn't even that long. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was very quickly.
Yes, it was. So you got started with the business again. You started as a customer, decided I'm just going to go full force, do the business, seeing how much it has changed since 8 years. I mean, I've been with the company coming up to 8 years, so I know it has changed quite a bit. It's they've made the product so much better, changed things with the business. It's more social media, and yeah, you're just seriously rocking and rolling. And you started your weight loss journey again. What products are you using now, and how much weight have you lost with what you're using?
Yeah. So now I was using I ordered the greens off of the customer account that I set up. So I was getting the greens in. So when I signed up as a distributor a couple of days later, I did the $99 kit, which got you the Slimming Gummies and the SLMR. And I'm like, okay, well, they didn't have these products when I was doing it before. I'm going to give it a go. Neither one of them have caffeine in it. So, I don't have to worry about that. So when those products came in, I started using them. And I was doing the 2 gummies a day and the SLMR. And we started the greens. And honestly, it was days into using the gummies and the SLMR that I started noticing a difference, like days. And I kept telling my husband, I was like, you know what? This stuff really works. Like, it's working. And, deep down, I knew it because I know the products. Like, anything that It Works has put out, I have loved. But when I was doing it, we didn't have the coffee. We didn't have the aloe. We didn't have the slimming gummies. We didn't have the SLMR. Like, the main top sellers was the skinny wraps at that point, and the Thermophyte and the Fat Fighters. That was our main 3, was those. So I started using that 5 weeks. What have I been? 5 weeks in now?
Yeah.
5 weeks in, and I've lost 22 pounds and 4 inches on the midsection.
Wow.
So just doing that, those 3 products, the SLMR, the Slimming Gummies, and the greens. And I will tell you, I have that feeling back again that I missed, and the wellness feeling, the energy that I didn't have. Like, before, I was just on autopilot. And stress, a lot of people don't realize stress will strip your body also. It will change the way that your body functions on the inside. All of that was going on. What I was eating, the carbs, was just the toxins in my body. Like, I could feel it. And I knew a lot of people that, continue one way, because I know both ways. I know what it felt like to be over 500 pounds. And then I know what it felt like to lose that and be healthy. When you have that difference of a feeling, and then you go back to this way, I could tell a difference immediately. I was completely in tune with my body when it was happening. And
Uh-oh. Did we lose her, or is it me?
I think we lost her. I hope it wasn't me. I switched rooms. I think
she might be frozen. Cassie, are you there, girl? I see her on, but I don't see her. Uh-oh. Wow, you guys. Hey, isn't her story like?
It's like so incredible. Lisa, even my husband's been sitting here listening. He's like, that is incredible. Like, she might not be on at the moment, but I'm working on getting her on a corporate Zoom because she has got to share that with everyone.
I know, right? Cassie, I hope you can hear us talking about you, girl, because it like, been doing this, 8 years, Stacey, you've been in for a long time too. And I don't think I've ever heard a more incredible, touching story and, true testimony of, like, you're going to get those customers that are going to tell you, oh, this didn't work, that didn't work. This girl's telling you, like, there's no doubt in my mind, this works. I'm the proof, right? No, I think we might have lost her. That's okay. So you guys, I don't
on.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So
Yeah.
I think we lost you there for a sec. So we were just saying, Cassie, like how incredible your story is. Like we're all mind blowing and so incredibly proud of you. And you know, just what you accomplished with you kept going. You have such a passion and a drive, and there is just nobody that can tell you that, sister, these products don't work. Yes, they do. I'm like living proof. Not only has it helped me change my inside, it's changed my outside, and now I get to help other people get that feeling too and help them on their journey while also being able to, you know, be home with your kids, make some extra income for your family. And girl, we know that you got some really big goals that I'm just so incredibly proud of you and excited for you. I just can't wait. I don't know. Did you hear Stacy say that Stacy, you want to tell her? Do you have any questions that you want to ask her?
Like I've been completely mind blown. My husband's working and sitting here listening. He's like, oh my gosh. And like, we've been in our company for 9 years, Cassie. Like we have seen a lot, we've heard a lot, but the passion and really how the products and the company have changed your life. And then just sharing your story, how I know how many lives it's going to continue to impact, how many you impacted when they saw what you were doing back when you first started. Like, this is just mind blowing. I already have a message out to Stacy Alcala about putting you on a corporate Zoom because I think that everyone needs to hear your story. Like, I feel like it's so powerful, and I feel like not only is it powerful for everyone else to hear, but the importance of like developing a personal testimony. Now yours is just like, our goal is to change lives with this company. It's not about being salespeople. Like, we are here for this long, Lisa and I, because we know the products work. We know that the company's changed our lives, and we want to radiate that with everyone. And because you have the desire and passion to change people's lives with your testimony, like, it's just going to be like, you're going to explode. You're going to the top, and you're going to impact so many people in this company in the process. And we're just so thankful that you were open enough, just coming back for a month and a half, to share all of this with us. Because when Lisa was sharing some things with me and she forwarded a couple of your just passionate voice memos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, she needs to do a Zoom. She needs to share her heart. Like, this is what we're about. What Sherry Lynn Alcala has said, this is my last little bit because I'm sorry I talk a lot, but Sherry Lynn Alcala, our CEO's wife, shared with us that, you know, if people come into It Works and their life is impacted in some way, whether they're with us for lifetime or with us for a period of time, if their lives are impacted in some way, then we're doing it right. Like, this is what it's about. We want people to come into this company, whether they're customers and team members, and we want them to continue to love what it's doing and how it's changing their life. And if they leave because it was only for a season, that they can look back and be like, wow, that was an amazing impact that opportunity had, and that those products had on my life. And I couldn't have said it better, because that's what we're about. Like, we're about people. We're not just about, let me sell you a product, because honestly, no one gets to the top by just saying, I want to sell people a bunch of products and I want to sell them the opportunity, and then I just want to leave them hanging. It's about truly wanting to change lives. So that's what you've shown here, is the impact that it's had on yours, and how many are truly going to be impacted by your story. And I'm just thankful that you were willing to share.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cassie. I'm so proud of you, girl. Did you have any last little things that you wanted to say, or does anybody have any questions? I haven't been able to see the chat.
I've been blowing the chat just with excitement, but I don't think we have any specific questions. But yeah, Cassie, do you want to close us with anything?
Yeah, I mean, all I want to say is that that's exactly right. And, you know, I don't think Lisa could have put it any differently. She said it to me the other day, but the main goal right now is, yes, I'm back on my journey and I'm back doing this. And I do know that I can go all of the way with this, because I did it before just with myself. But it is about the people. And if I can change, and this was Lisa's words, all of the old Cassies that were struggling and had doctors tell them that, well, you're not doing it this way, so that's why it's not working, or do it this way. And everybody's body is different. So not everybody's body is going to react, to a certain product the same way that someone else's is. But the good thing about these products is it changes you from the inside. It's changing the way that your insides are functioning. Like, it is more internal health, which is fixing everything else on the outside. And that's what I love about the products. That's what everybody has to understand when you're marketing these products is you are fixing yourself from the inside. It's not about body image. When you start feeling good on the inside, all of that starts showing on the outside.
Amen. 100%. Love it. Well, thank you so much again for taking out your night tonight, Cassie, and sharing with us your heart and your story. It's so incredible. Stacy is recording this, so she will get that out. So, I mean, if you want to share with other people, we'll have it in our team pages and whatnot. But yeah, just thank you so much for sharing with us. And I'm so excited to see all the lives that you're going to change and in turn help yourself as well. So thank you everybody for hopping on the Zoom tonight. Thank you, Stacy, for helping me host tonight.
Absolutely. And we want to go ahead and push the stop recording so that the recording will end. And then I will upload an email within an hour, and I'll get you guys the recording tomorrow.